It's your sleepless god back with What If Percy Was Trained by Hades and Persephone? Part, I don't know how many times you're going to make me do but we're just going to start out with the recap. Last time we left off, uh, they got Grover back from uh, basically almost dying. Everyone had a fair rest, uh, but what they decided for the guard station was Annabeth and Percy were going to start out first. They were going to do 4 hours, and then Grover and Luke will do the next shift for another 4 hours. They'll sleep, and then it'll just keep like that until they find a way to keep on going. But Percy and Annabeth, Percy just wanted to go first anyway, because he really doesn't need sleep. But Annabeth wanted to talk to Percy for a little bit, and they started talking about their actual lives. And like, Annabeth explained what her life was before this, explained her father, explained her stepmom, explained their sisters, and Percy explained his life too. Like, he was lying, yes, and Annabeth called his shit out. Yeah, you were lying. I know you were lying. And they started talking about their backstory. Also, they started talking about who they think it might be, because Percy doesn't think it's the Lord of Death. Annabeth still is in that, like, still believes that might be the Lord of Death. Percy doesn't believe that at all. Sorry. But after that, they traded out positions. But when Percy woke up, Grover had a poodle, the $100 reward, was able to them to get on the 2A train car and ride basically to their destination. After that, they got into the train car, hopped onto it, and drove to the arch, where Annabeth, Percy said, we can definitely stop. And they hopped off the train for a little bit, looked at the arch. Now, also, Percy knew when he got into Percy, we realized something about Percy. Percy does not like heights. He never did like heights. He doesn't have a fear to it. He just dislikes it. The old lady, the poodle turned into what we know as a Nemean lion, or not the Nemean lion, but a mix of like animals. Lion head. I think, yeah, it's lion's head, eagle's body, tail of a snake, if I remember correctly. After that, he said, "You're going to die, boy." And Percy said, "I think I can kill your beast with this single slice of my blade." Is that where we left it off last time? Let's start the video. As Percy's in a precarious situation. He's on the top of this building by himself with a giant lion in front of him, and it seems like it's ready to kill him. As he's dodging right now the snake bites, as the claws get super close to him, as he needs to just cut off its attacks. So what he does first is he slides below the lion itself, crawling behind, almost sliding it and getting behind it, slashing the tail off first. As you hear the lady, "You evil creature," as you hear, like, you see the whip almost hit Percy as he dodges it out of the way, moving like a ballerina, as a claw strikes down, as the glass shatters in his claw, as it lands perfectly, as it goes for another slice, as Percy backs up, hits a pole as he's like, fuck, and has to hit one of his boosts, his 2 times boost, to dodge out of the way. And now he's basically drugged up. So he has, if I remember correctly, each one of them hits for 10 minutes. And after that 10 minutes, the 2 boost goes away of everything, and he's just dog tired until he hits him. Unless he hits another one. It also takes 10 minutes for them to recharge. Actually, no, it takes an hour for them to recharge. So while he's in this boost, he's gonna have to go all out, and he does. He rips. He cuts off one of its legs, making it crumpled a little bit. He flips over the back, cutting off the other leg, slicing off all the legs beforehand, and the lines on is basically just nothingness as Percy puts a blade through its head as it turns to mist, as what's left is just, well, a cloak that you see the woman just looking at him, and he just says, "What are you?" And Percy looks at him and just says, "I'm the son of Poseidon, bitch. Who do you think I am?" As he holds up both of his blades, like Trish, as he grabs the cloak. As he sees, you hear sirens going out from outside. As he goes over to the ledge where the lion broke the glass, and he looks down as he sees water. As he looks over, and he says, "And my father will protect me." As he jumps down to the lowest tier, as he falls into the water. Now he doesn't have a fear of breaking all of his bones and dying. He knows his father's water will protect him no matter what. Water will protect him no matter what. No matter if it's lake water or this disgusting water or ocean water, I should say. They have a little talk with a spirit, but they really don't need that conversation because he's pretty well versed on what he needs to do. But when he hops out, he instantly grabs the cloak. It transforms into like a normal jacket with a little symbol on the chest of just a circle with 3 pitchforks on it. It's like a bluish blackish jacket with on the back like the hood itself, it's green. The jacket is a really dark blue, and on the cuffs itself is completely black, and this on the chest has a 3-pronged, basically the meaning of Poseidon. As he walks out of the actual lake, and he moves around, getting back to Annabeth, Percy, and Grover, and Luke, obviously, as they were like, "What the hey." They first, Annabeth checks him over, like top to bottom, like, "Hey, are you okay? Are you?" Checks him over, makes sure he's okay, makes sure he's good. Number 2, both of them need to get back on the train. Both of them need to get going, because if they don't, all hell's gonna break loose. As they run back onto the train, hopping back onto it, and getting the ride to the restaurant. Where did they stop? Oh yeah, if I remember correctly, it's been a while. Just saying, been a while. They stopped to their final stop as after instantaneously Percy had to just pass out. He used one of his boosts, and it was just drained him. It came back though, so he's fine. But he was dog tired, so he just fell asleep in the train car. after that, they all hopped out, trying to find a restaurant basically to eat. He found like a super, like he just found a restaurant. Like they were so hungry, they were not really thinking straight, so they really didn't realize about cash. Luckily enough, Percy has money on him, but only like $46 max. And he looks at the person, looks at them, he's like, so fries for the table, as he just feels this eminence of rage, anger. He looks over at her, and she looks fear, but she also looks like she's scared. Like fear and scared things are the same thing, but still. As you see, the god of war, Ares, sit at the table, as with his eye and his gauntlets, or I'm going to call chains, he can resist the rage element by a lot, like almost like 85%. He feels it though, and Luke and Annabeth really feel it. Annabeth less. Annabeth, because she's the strategy goddess, she does not feel that as much. Definitely not much. But Luke definitely feels that anger, that rage, as he hands her a golden drachma and asks for any food, for anything they eat. But with specifically Percy's eyes, he can see in the motorcycle that the god of war drove in. There's two symbols, one for Zeus and one for Hades. As he looks at him, and he fakes his emotions really well, fakes the rage, the anger, and he looks at him and says, "What are you doing here?" He says, he leans back and he says, "Squirt, you better talk in a different tone. I'm helping you out." I know you're on a little bit of a quest, so I'll help you out. If you get something from me, I'll help you get where you need to go. As Percy knows this bitch is lying, or kind of lying, is trying to trick them in a certain way. So what he does is he says, "Okay, I'll 1 second. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick." As he leaves, he can still feel the flaming eyes for a couple of seconds on his back, but it seems like he has a short intentions plan. So when he goes to the bathroom, he exits out the window perfectly, sneaks to where his motorcycle is, opens one of the little like saddlebags, I guess you could, grabs the crown and puts it into, basically shrinks it down because it can go anywhere. So he shrinks it down into his pocket, and he starts hiding his rage, his anger around that crown. Hops back in the window, shuts the window, comes back, and he's just like, you know what? What do you want? What do you want to get? He says, I left something somewhere special, So, if you may, I would like you to retrieve it for me. As Luke, looking like actually angry, but Percy starts doing the talking and says, "What is it?" It's like, "That's on a need to know basis, kid. And I need to know, and you don't." He says, "I can't help you if you don't tell me where at least what it is." He says, "I'll tell you where it is, and that's it." He says, "Okay, I can deal with that." Tells us the location, tells us kind of what they might see. Then both of them walk outside. All of them walk outside with him, where he hops on his motorcycle and drives off. He says, I'll be back in a couple minutes." As he drops the axe. that rage as Luke like gets out of that. Is like, what was that? And he's like, Percy just says, don't worry about that. That's just a rage. You have to control it. As like Luke says, like, but it seems like you guys didn't feel anything. He's like, Annabeth says, God of wisdom, like battle strategy. Like, I don't feel the rage that you guys feel because I'm always tactically smart. I'm not gonna become angry at something. We're total opposites, me and him. And what about you, Percy? You seem like you felt it a little bit, but not as much as I did. You still were talking straight a little bit. He says, I've dealt with some bad people. Him, not even close to what I have dealt with. But they get to the place. Obviously, they change their clothes back. Like they rob from their gift store like they do. A little bit different though. They don't set off an alarm because Percy, before Annabeth grabs the shield, grabs her hand and looks around at everything and realizes this is a trap. Not for them, but for gods. That's even more dangerous. So what he does is he basically has to quick toss it a little bit because he knows the golden string is going to come around him. So what he does is he cuts the string that's connected on them. That still activates the trap, but he chucks the shield to Grover, who catches it. He grabs Annabeth by on her stomach and just chucks her out of the pool before the strings have any time to get there, and then just says, now how am I gonna get out? This is where the water comes in. He fills up. He does his little thing. He times it perfectly where he says jump. He jumps into and out as Annabeth, Grover, and Luke both look at him, soaking wet a little bit, with his nice hoodie on, and basically like one of his swords drawn, being like, "What the hell are you doing?" After that, they deliver the shield. Obviously, they get to go into the Zooporium, basically, where there's no fear with the lion anymore with Percy. They do trade out the food, but it's less like fear for Percy because he's also a lion. So it's like both of them know what they're going into. Both of them see each other as like equals almost, both kings of their own kind of kingdom. As when Grover and Luke fall asleep, Percy and Annabeth are still awake, just waiting for a little bit because they're going to go to bed, but not yet. Annabeth says, "Thanks for getting me out of there." And he says, "Don't worry about it." And he grabs the little crown and he enrages it to like an actual crown, so it's like a king's crown, and he puts it on his head. I think I'm the king of the underworld now. As Annabeth looks at him with wide eyes, and he says, "Is that?" And he nods his head, "Yeah." He grabs it back out. He shakes his head, no, don't tell anyone. Shrinks it back down to a normal one and puts it in his pocket. And he smiles at Annabeth. As Annabeth smiles back because he knows what he and she are both thinking about. But this is where our video is going to end. Hope you guys like it. I'm going to see you guys later. Goodbye.